Greetings and salutations. Another Tuesday, another video. I recently wrapped up my top 5 overrated 80s movies list, right? And figured, how about one about the 5 movies or movie franchises that have been forgotten, or at least seemingly forgotten, for one reason or another. And there are going to be some controversial movies out there on this list, and I recognize that this list is big. So condensing it to 5 is kind of a headache, you know? But I'm kind of thinking in the direction of short circuit movies, which will be this video, Innerspace, The Black Cauldron, Trading Places, and since there has to be one really controversial choice, how about Song of the South? You know, just to get people talking. And I know what some of you are thinking, and shut up. Now, on to talking about Short Circuit. You would think that the Short Circuit movies would be made by Disney, right? But I think they were TriStar films. I think Steve Guttenberg was in the first one, and there's some guy that was in the first. His name is Ben. He was one of the creators of the robots. I don't know his name, but I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. So, let's see here. Short Circuit is about a robot that gains sentience because I believe it was struck by lightning. You know, short circuit. And so this woman, who's kind of a UFO conspiracist, not only finds the robot, but thinks it's an alien. Discovers that this is created by the military. And this robot, as well as its counterparts, were created for war. And along the way, it learns about death. This is one of those films that I could see as support for the gender theory if I believed in it. Sorry, folks. So anyway, the whole movie is basically about number 5, which is the name of the robot. 5 in a series of, these war robots. And the journey the robot takes to finally getting away from the military. And the military wasting precious resources just to hunt down this robot that isn't really doing anything to anybody. Now, I'm not going to go into anything political or otherwise, okay? It's just a movie after all. And it's basically like a lot of the movies in its time. Had some really sweet special effects. The music score was pretty awesome. And the lines were great too, very memorable. You even got some commercials from that day and age. And number five, kind of repeating them. And the robot was cool looking. Like I said, the special effects are sweet. I wouldn't say the acting was anything to write home about, but it was enjoyable, you know? And honestly, that day and age, that's really all that mattered. It isn't like today, where everything has to be super inclusive to the point of being overly unnecessarily obnoxious. It was just there to, well, entertain people. Not really there to capitalize on the audience, unlike some films I've mentioned. Alright, so there was also a second one. Now, I forget about when this one was released to theaters, but as I said, it had Ben. I think that's the name of the guy. He was one of the inventors from the first movie. And if you've seen the first and the second movie, you know the guy I'm talking about. And as always, I usually assume you've seen these videos talked about on YouTube, so you've probably seen all the clips. And I'd really like to avoid copyright strikes, you know. So, alright. The second one is about the inventor creating these toys. They're kind of like little replicas of the robots he created, like number five. And so, number five, it now calls itself, or himself, you know, Johnny Five, helps the inventor in making these toys and meets the villain. I think his name's Oscar, kind of fat guy. Him and his cohorts were using the place the inventor uses for a shop to rob a bank. And that's kind of what this is about, you know. Johnny Five interacting with society, learning all kinds of things, reading books or, you know, input. But I gotta be honest, I think that the first one was more memorable. The second was okay though. I mean, it's definitely worth watching, but it's one of those movies where you really do need to watch the first one just to get a proper background story on what came to pass, you know? So, anyway, the bad guy makes his move, badly damages Johnny Five to the point that he gets this con man to help him with repairs. And so you get this whole chase sequence with the song I Need a Hero playing in the background. You know, the song from Footloose. And you get all kinds of special effects. It's hard to say which movie had more special effects, because there was some really cool stuff in the second one, even though I like the first one a lot more. And it's not about sentience in this one, becoming self aware. It is about gaining acceptance. Johnny Five gaining acceptance by his peers and becoming the first robotic citizen, I think it was New York. You know, I was worried I was not going to have a lot to talk about with this one. I even plan to do like a double feature talking about Innerspace and the Short Circuit movies, but I am glad to say that I'm managing to pull this off, and then some. Here's the best part, okay? The best part is there's a collection with both movies on DVD, and it may be for a really cheap price, just because it is, you know, nearly forgotten about, or totally forgotten about, maybe. I couldn't even tell you if it's available for streaming, because some movies just are not. And so, you know, if you like the idea of watching this sci fi flick, what would I call it? It's not sci fi adventure, I'd just say science fiction, you know. Go check it out. Look it up. Ask whatever AI assistant you use where you can find the Short Circuit movies. Thank you for watching very much. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Cool comments get approved. Meh comments and nasty comments in general directed at me do not. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay cool.